Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I finally have a book related video for you guys. I feel like I haven't done one in such a long time, and this is much needed for me because you guys blindly pick my June TBR. The past few months I have been in a major reading slump. Like, I haven't picked up a book and actually finished it in such a long time, and this is much needed. I feel like this is just a fun way for me to figure out what I'm going to be reading this month. For me, the hardest part is picking which book I want to read. I feel like I pick up a book and then I put it down and never pick it up again, and then I start a whole new book. It's a never-ending cycle. So I feel like with this video and you guys picking the books that I'm going to be reading this month will definitely keep me determined and motivated to actually finish them. So basically how this works, I posted multiple stories on my Instagram. It was between two books. I crossed them both out, and then on top I put two little emojis that describe the book. I kind of just went off the title and like what's on the cover because I feel like that's an easier way to determine which book it is. And then obviously I put a poll for you guys to vote. I actually haven't checked the results yet, so I'm so excited to see what my TBR is going to be for this month. So I think it's time for us to jump into the video. So the first poll was between two romance novels, and the first book was A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This has been on my bookshelf for the longest time and I have yet to read it. So this is definitely something that I would love to win because I do really want to read this. So for this book I put the 100. Obviously it's missing a 0, but I figured some people that have read this book would get it. It's just to symbolize the 1,000 kisses. And then the next emoji that I put is a boy and a girl kissing. I feel like those emojis just really define the plot and also the cover and the title. This book is basically about two main characters, Poppy and Rune. They're childhood best friends. When Poppy was young, her grandma gave her a task to collect over 1,000 boy kisses over her lifetime. So her childhood best friend Rune promised that he would help her out with that task. This is what the back of the book says. One boy, one girl, a bond that is forged in an instant and cherished for a decade, a bond that neither time nor distance can break, a bond that will last forever, or so they believe. When 17-year-old Rune returns from his native Norway to the sleepy town of Blossom Grove, Georgia, where his befriended Poppy, Litchfield as a child, he has just one thing on his mind. Why did the girl who was one half of his soul, who promised to wait faithfully for his return, cut him off without a word of explanation? Rune's heart was broken 2 years ago when Poppy fell silent, but when he discovers the truth of her absence, he finds the greatest heartache is yet to come. This book has always been on my TikTok For You page, and I've heard mixed reviews about it. I feel like some people love or hate this book. All of the good comments about this book say that it's really sad, and a lot of people end up crying to this book. I'm a very emotional, sensitive person, and I do cry to reading a sad book. So I feel like if this one wins, I'm gonna be in for a treat. The second book is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is actually a book that I started reading but put it down and haven't picked it up since. Not because it's necessarily bad or it didn't hook me. I just am in a major reading slump, and for the life of me I just can't finish a book. So for this book I put the tent emoji with a little tree in the background because it kind of resembles a campsite, because the setting of this book takes place at a summer camp, and obviously I put a fire emoji because of the title. From what I can remember from reading the first few pages within this book, it's between these two main characters, Russ and Aurora. They both were at a after party after their graduation. They were playing a drinking game and then they ended up hooking up and having a one-night stand. Then later down the road they are both camp counselors at the same summer camp, and they basically just reconnect through summer camp. I also heard that this book has a good amount of spicy content. I started this one and I would love to finish it, but I would also really love to read 1,000 Boy Kisses. So 50% of you said left and then 43% of you said right. So we are going to be adding 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole to our June TBR, which honestly I'm very excited about. I've been wanting to read this book for the longest time, like I've said. The next book is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. So for this book I use the bow and arrow emoji because what else would I use? And Archer uses a bow and arrow, so it's just really fitting with the title. And it also fits the main character's name. And then for the second emoji I use the guy that's like speaking, looks like he's speaking, to represent voice. So it's basically the title within the emojis. I'm not 100% sure what this book is about, but one of my friends recommended it to me because it's a really good book. I mean, literally on the back it's one of the top 100 romance novels of all time on Goodreads, so I'm very excited to read this if it does win. I wanted to lose myself in the small town of Pelion, Maine, to forget everything I had left behind. The sound of rain, the blood, the coldness of a gun against my skin. For 6 months each breath has been a reminder that I survived and my dad didn't. I'm almost safe again, but this moment I met Archer Hill. My entire world tilts on its axis and never rights itself again. Until I trespass into his strange, silent, and isolated world, Archer communicates with no one. Yet in his whiskey-colored eyes eyes, something intangible happens between us. There's so much more to him than just his beauty, his presence, or the ways his hands communicate with me, on me. But this town is mirrored in secrets and portrayals, and Archer is the explosive center of it all. So much passion and so much hurt, but it's in Archer's silence that we might just find what we need to heal and to live. One of my favorite writing styles is like the dual POV, where it switches from main characters, so it goes from Archer to Bree, and that is literally like my favorite thing to read. It's so good, and it's written like that in this book. Then the next book is Happy Place by Emily Henry. So for this I used the happy emoji, and then I chose the house as the second emoji because the setting of this book takes place at a cottage in Maine, so the house and cottage kind of are the same thing. The book is about a couple, Harriet and Wynne. They met in college, they go perfect together, but they end up breaking up right before their friend group's yearly getaway to their cottage in Maine. They go every single year, but they don't tell their best friends that they broke up. So the whole time that they're in Maine at this cottage on vacation, they pretend like they're still dating and they didn't break up. I love a good fake dating book. So I think it's time for us to check the results. 27% of you said left, and then 73% of you said the right. So that means we are going to be reading Happy Place by Emily Henry this month, and I'm honestly so excited about this. I'm kind of torn that Archer's voice didn't win, but even though it didn't, I think I might still add it to my TBR pile. I need to find a place to put the books that have won, so I think I'm gonna put them right here on the shelf. Ignore the fact that I have another book of Happy Place. My mom got me this book for Easter, and she didn't know that I already had bought it myself, so now I have 2 copies. I might exchange it for a different book at Target, or maybe just donate it to like a Goodwill bookstore. But for now, we're gonna put our TBR pile right here. The next poll is between The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. The emojis for this book, I put the number 7 because it's in the title, and it also represents the plot because one of the main characters lives 7 years in the past. And then for the second emoji, I just put a clock to represent time because I really didn't know what else to put. I was looking for emoji for like a guy slipping on the floor, but there is none. So one of the main characters, Clementine, she moves into her aunt's apartment because it was given to her after she passed. But she walks into this strange, very sexy, good-looking man standing in her kitchen, and she ends up falling head over heels for him, but he lives 7 years in the past. But it was actually arranged by her aunt 7 years ago. The next book is Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. So fun fact about this book, I went into Barnes & Noble with my sister, and I was like, Ellie, why don't you just pick out a book for me? And this is the book that she picked out. I don't really know what this book is about. I don't own any books by Rachel, so this is my first one. For this book, I put the sun emoji and the moon emoji. This one was probably the hardest one to come up with because the title of this book doesn't really give much, and I don't really know what it's about, so I couldn't give really any context within the emojis, so I'm just gonna read the back of the book. Today she hates him. It's the last day of senior year. Rowan Roth and Neil McNair have been bitter rivals for all of high school, clashing over test scores, student council elections, and even gym class pull-up contests. While Rowan, who secretly wants to write romance novels, is anxious about the future. She loved to beat her infatuating academic nemesis one last time. When Neil is named valedictorian, Rowan only has one more chance to victory. A senior class game that takes them over to Seattle, a farewell tour of the city she loves. But after learning that a group of seniors is out to get them, she and Neil reluctantly decide to team up until they are the last players left, and then they will destroy each other. As Rowan spends more time with Neil, she realizes he's much more than the awkward linguistics nerd she's sparred with for the past 4 years. And perhaps this boy she claims to despise might actually be the boy of her dreams. Tomorrow, ... maybe she's already fallen for him. 28% of you said left, and then 72% of you said right. So Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon has won, and so we're going to be adding this to our June TBR. The next book is If You Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin, and this one is yet another book that I picked up, started reading, put down, not because it's bad, just because of my whole reading slump and not wanting to read. I know this book overall is really good, and a lot of people do really love it. It's a heartbreaking book. So for this one, I put the lollipop and the heartbreak emoji. The lollipops just go with the cover of the book because these are lollipops, and then I put a broken heart because one of them is crushed. So it just really represents the cover of this book. So this book book is about two main characters, Autumn and Finn. They are childhood best friends, but as they grow up and throughout high school, they kind of go their own ways and they're dating different people, but in their minds, they still want each other. I know this book has a really, really terrible ending, and it's a book that makes everyone so sad and breaks everyone's heart, so I'm kind of scared to read this book. The next book is The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. I use the pink heart emoji and then the pack of money because a wager is like a bet. People bet money, and then the heart obviously represents love. This book is a rom-com. The trope is friends to lovers, about these two people who make a wager on who can fall in love first between the two, but then comes a wedding, so they agree to be each other's dates, and then after this wedding they just start to question everything and they question the wager. 20% of you said left, and then 80% of you said right. Hey, why am I kind of upset about that? I really wanted this book to win because I just really want to read it, but I really do love Lynn Painter as a writer. I read her book Better Than the Movies, and it's one of my all-time favorite books, so I feel like I might really enjoy this book, so I'm not too upset. So for the last poll, the first book is Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. I hope I'm saying her name right. Please correct me if I'm not. So this is the first book in the Shatter Me series. The emojis that I used is a sword and then the eye emoji, because I feel like within the series, each cover has an eye, so that just goes really well. I wanted one of the emojis to represent the word shatter, and I didn't know what to use, so I just used a sword. So I don't really know if those fit really well. Obviously, I don't know much about this book, so I didn't really know what to put. So hopefully when you guys were voting, you got like the correlation. I know this series has a lot of books. I just heard that it's really good. So this book is a dystopian romantic thriller. So I'm just gonna read the back of the book. No one knows why Juliet's touch is fatal, but the reestablishment has plans for her, plans to use her as a weapon. But Juliet has plans of her own. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovering a strength to fight back for the very first time and to find future with the one boy she thought she lost forever. If you guys have read this book, please let me know what you like about it. Give me a review down below in the comments. So the next book is King of Wrath by Anna Wong. This is also a series. I think there's 3 books in this series and I have yet to read it, so it's kind of funny that both of these are in a series. So for this book, I just used the crown emoji because of the title and then the ring emoji because of the cover. So this book is about a billionaire CEO, and he never planned to marry until he was threatened by blackmail. So he was forced into an arranged engagement to a girl he did not know, and she is the daughter of his newest enemy. This book just sounds so intriguing. So if this one does win, I'm very excited to read it because a lot of people really love Anna as an author. 18% of you said left, and then 82% of you said right, so that means King of Wrath is the winner. So that completes all of the polls, and here's our complete June TBR. I only did 5 books because I don't think I could read any more than 5. Since we've done this video and you guys picked my books, I feel like it's definitely gonna keep me determined to finish these, and I have a lot of spare time this month, so June is gonna be the month of reading, and once I finish all of these books, I will give you a recap and I will rate them and let you guys know what I think. I feel like this is a really good lineup. Here are the books that did not win. I'm kind of upset about all of these. I feel like these 5 books are really good too. I think this would have been my lineup if I chose it myself. This video was so much fun and I love doing polls with you guys and letting you guys contribute. I know a handful of you guys do enjoy my book content. I know I haven't done it in a really long time, so let me know if you guys enjoyed this video at all in the comments down below. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon back for more videos. Bye guys. Mwah.